Landscape images may depict the natural or urban environment. Entries may be interpretive. In other words, they do not need to be a literal image of a scene. Judges in this category are asked to consider both traditional and contemporary values. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Thank you. And could we have a quick comment, Craig?
I think the crop could be tightened up a little bit. It just seems a bit loose, but I do like the luminescence of light going on here, but I think it needs to be played with a little bit more.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Hello. Can we have a blank screen, please? Yes, I know you did. That's okay. We can deal with that. So just make a mental note of your scores, or if you need to write them down, please. Sorry, we have a little glitch. Seemed like it was going well there for a second, didn't it? For the very first print. So I think thank you. Now, judges, if you could please reset your image library inside your head as I have reset the screen here. And please judge this photograph. Our screens and our physical photos now match together. Sorry about that to the entrant. We will resolve it. just check. Did you all send your scores? Yeah, okay. So, print handlers, can we have a blank screen again, please? Just a moment. All right. So I have 2 out of 5 of your scores have come through, which won't allow us to move on because we need. I do have your score, and I have Kay's score, but from there on we go downhill. So I think has everyone got their tickets for the dinner on Monday night? Yes, yes, and you all know it's black tie, so you got to frock up. Oh, I don't own a black tie. And now, Peter, why don't you tell us about your black ribbon that you're wearing? Hilarious. Peter actually. I'll get you one of these. There you go. You're on now. No,
Testing,
this one.
testing. Hello. Oh, there we go.
Gotcha.
Yes, I'm quite attached to this black ribbon. I got given it yesterday.
Yes, it's his black lanyard with his
is that a
name on
ribbon?
it, so he doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, he normally wears a lovely black ribbon
No,
because
never.
he's got a black ribbon with, let me see, purple and grey and what
I
are
think
other
that's
colours?
right, isn't it? Purple and grey. Yeah.
So
I
does
much
it-
prefer the New Zealand colours, you know.
which is?
Well, I've got a yellow and a black one, I think, from New Zealand. I always find that yellow and black reminds me more of Kentucky Fried Chicken than Need to get a white one. Well, I think that. Verse. Look at this group of people. We've got to entertain them somehow. We've got to say something, haven't
Yes,
we?
thank
Oh, sorry,
you.
I'm back on.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
back
I'm okay. All right. I was just saying that Kay, she's got a white one from New Zealand. Now, I've got to say that the New Zealand ribbons, I'm sorry, because they beat us at cricket, they beat us at football, and I reckon their ribbons are much more sexy as well. They've got this little squizzle halfway down, and when you become really good, you get a white one, which is a step closer to the deity of photography over in New Zealand.
So, so is a white grandmaster in
Yeah.
New
What
Zealand?
is white? Probably because we're black in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grandmaster is black in Australia,
Is
so
it-
I guess Grandmaster is white in New Zealand, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, Grandmaster is white in New Zealand.
Isn't that typically converse of the New Zealanders, eh?
That's all right.
Are they going to do it better?
Yeah. Well, it's just different, not necessarily better.
I'm with you.
So Peter is one of our highest awarded and honoured
The older I get, the better I used to be.
members of our industry. Peter has previously twice won Australian Professional Photographer of
I was
the
the
Year.
only entrant the second time, though.
That's not true. We know it's not true. And the purple designates
The fellow.
of
Yep.
the Institute, which is given in honour of longevity of service.
No, the
as
fellowship is for
excellence.
a body of photography, and the honorary fellow is for longevity of service. And what they're trying to do is get rid of me off the board, so they figured if they gave me that, I might go away. But I'm still hanging around like a bad smell.
Keeps turning up. So
Have you asked Sue about the feather in her hair?
We all got tarred and feathered last night.
So yes, Sue has a feather, and I have seen our chair, Tony Hewitt.
Tony's got
has
two
also
feathers.
has
Yeah,
feathers
that's
woven
right.
into his hair last night as well.
I haven't seen your chest hairs. So we haven't been closed down. So Craig, you've got a red one on. What does a red one mean?
A red. I've got the mic now. So yeah, a red ribbon is you achieve your red ribbon after you achieve 15 points. So you get your first 5 points for an associateship, and then you get 10 points through entering the awards. You get your first red ribbon. And I've got a red ribbon with 1 gold bar, so that means that I've achieved another 10 points. So I'm on the road of catching up to you someday. They've cut you off again. Say, I've got the mic now. Jackie Dean over here. Jackie, you got the mic?
Oh my God. Look, Peter and I have got the same colours, but we're not twins. I do have a twin. I have a twin in London, and she's quite a remarkable young woman.
Thank you, team, for entertaining our lovely audience and entertaining yourselves. You did a great job of that. And I think we've resolved the issues. So if we could have the print back, please. That's okay. Thank you very much. The scores ended up coming through as part of resolving the process, so they actually did get all of your scores that you entered. And this print has received a silver award at 83. So my apologies for the wait to the entrant, but I hope you're happy with the result. It was all of your scores were entered straight away. It just wasn't showing on my screen. So Sue is now going to check. I think you were all quite close together. We're just going to check that what the score ranges were in absolute fairness to the photo. And we shall check back with you shortly. And until we get that, we won't comment on it in case it requires a challenge or a discussion. So, apart from that, and so who knows what happens after you get your red ribbon and 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars,
4 bars, 4 bars, 5 bars, and then Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Grand Poobah.
Yeah.
But it's one of the, I'm glad you put this back on the mic here, it's New Zealand, Australia, being involved in the award system, being involved in the craft and the art of photography. This is where it stands, that the more you involve yourself, the more you enter, the more you learn, and the more you grow yourself as a professional photographer. So I think you got to be in it to win it, no matter what level you're at.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Sue, very capably, has produced the numbers on cue for you. So the scores are 83, 82, 83, 83, 84. Thank you. So there's no room for challenging. Everyone's been resolved and open and transparent. Thank you. And we're about to get a comment on the print from Peter.
I think 83 was a 83, wasn't it? Was a great great score. Very strong silver. I love the use of the curve along the front of the dam there, and then just that the hints of mist in the background are a really nice point. So beautifully seen, and lovely colour palette and execution.
Thank you very much. Fabulous work. And congratulations to the entrant. Thank you for your patience. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you. We have an average score of 83, silver award. Thank you. And a comment from Jackie.
I think a good use of shape and line. I was a little bit concerned about the little joins in the right-hand side on the tiles, but it's part of the building and it's very nicely seen.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award at 81. Lovely. Josh, a comment from you, please.
I enjoyed this very much. I enjoyed the impressionistic look to it. I think the ghost gum narrative worked for me. I enjoyed the print quality of it. I felt it sat quite comfortably as a solid silver, so I'm pleased where it's scored.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. And a comment, Peter. Thank you.
Love the idea. When using artificial light in this situation, maybe try to feather it in the foreground so that we feel that it really is light coming from down rather than just going right across. That would just be a suggestion to perhaps improve the light quality.
Very good. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. Craig, could we get a comment from you?
I'm really struggling. I sort of seeing where they're going with it, but it's a battle between the foreground and the background. It's a huge battle.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Thank you. And a comment from Jackie.
There's lots of good things going on in this image, but I'm just finding it too confusing. It's competing, the foreground is competing with the sky, and I'm sort of led out to that highlight in the left-hand corner. So real no centre of interest. I think that's the problem.
Thank you very much. And we're going to start rotating our judges already. Kay, thank you very much for Nuran. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award at 82, and Craig would like to challenge it. Thank you. On 88, you've got an 83, 82, and 278.
What I'm really enjoying about this image, a couple of things. A, the simplicity of the composition, as well as the placement of this tiny little tree, of what this tree will potentially become. So there's a bit of a narrative going on here, telling a story of a row of trees, and this is what the tree is going to look up to. Now, photographically, there's some beautiful use of light that's going across the trees, as well as the undulation in the foreground. Now, I just find that use of that and that simplicity of that, and then the stark aspect of the strong, bold composition here, and that's why I've rewarded that boldness of the use of the light, simplicity of that one tree, use of that light, and the composition. I've rewarded a silver distinction. So it sits at a silver. I think that's a little bit unjustified. So I'd ask you guys to reconsider.
Thank you. Jackie on 78.
I'm really enjoying the negative space in this image and the sort of very vague vignette darkening off to the right-hand side. But the thing that I would have gone up to a silver, and I'm still thinking about it, is the cutting off of that tree on the edges. I love the narrative that's there, but yeah, I'll be going up.
Thank you. Peter on 83.
Look, I agree with both sides. I mean, I think that's just stylistic, Jackie. But I guess it comes back down to each individual judge's background. And I look at that picture and I naturally put it into a database of where I see it sit. And I think it's well positioned at a silver at 83, good solid silver. And I'm comfortable with it there.
Thank you. Back to you, Craig.
Yeah, look, thanks for on this, the support of that immense amount of negative space. I think you need to take another look at it, because I just took another look at it. There's a bit more going on here. You've got all these trees are, if you almost add this narrative to it, they're all marching this uniformity, but the uniformity is actually broken up by the miniature tree. Then about 3 trees along, there's a tree on its own. It doesn't have another pair of legs. So, so again, that little aspect of ingenuity and craftsmanship, and I have a feeling you guys missed that one tree that's on its own without a pair of legs. So everybody's got a pair, and this is what the tree is going to become eventually, and they'll pair up. So nature does tend to mimic itself, and So that's why I'm rewarding this photographer for some creative ingenuity here. 88, guys. Think about that.
Thank you. Craig's score of 88 is locked in. The current average is 82. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 85, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Josh, could you give us a comment, please?
Yeah, it's obviously a beautiful scene. We've got some lovely hoarfrost going on there on a nice, probably chilly morning. I'm enjoying that aspect of it very much. I think the print quality is really letting it down. I think it needs to be printed down a little bit, just for the benefit of the photographer. And it's perhaps not quite as sharp as I would like in some of the leaves, and just that delicacy of the hoarfrost is not brought through in the print for me.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 79. You can challenge that because you are 5 points away. Josh is on 84. He's going to challenge it. You're working with an 81, 2 78s and a 77.
I was afraid this one might end up sitting on the fence, so I decided to push it quite heavily into the silver because I felt that there was something more there that we should look at and talk about. The photograph itself is quite bold. There's a obviously very strong blacks in the print, which I think really help. I think the choice of paper has also helped this a lot. I'm enjoying the fact that it may be a self-portrait, or that the photographer there is a photographer in the scene. I think the tonalities are quite nice. The way they've been handled on this particular paper, this substrate, and we should perhaps look at trying to at least sort this one out here and bring it up into the silvers, or at least give it the benefit of talking about it a bit more.
Thank you. And can we hear from Craig on 77?
Yeah, look, I struggled with the heaviness of the blacks. There's not enough tonal separation. You can't even see the separation between the foreground mountain range and the water in the ocean in the background. So I sort of struggle with that, and it's over vignetted.
Thank you. Jackie on 81.
I'm with you with this one. I'm actually enjoying the sort of graphic elements of this image, and the use of line. And I was a little bit worried about the horizon going through the guy's body, but at least it's not going through his head. So I scored it a low silver.
Thank you. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you. I think Jackie's right. I think there is also a graphical nature to this, and we should pay homage to that a little bit. I think, you know, in order to, when the photographer has presenting us with this shot, the dark areas are really necessary. If we don't have those, we don't have that graphical nature. We don't have that feeling of perhaps being drawn into the image to the subject. So I think, you know, it's a worthy effort. I think it sits above professional practice, and we should, you know, reward it accordingly.
Thank you very much. Josh's score of 84 is locked in. The current score by majority is 79. Judges, please rescore now. And it still stays at 79. It went up by 0.6%, but it's a decision that is a team decision. It will go for review at the end of this category. Thank you very much. Jackie, we're going to rotate you around. Kay, if you could come back and join us, please. Thank you. And could we have a blank screen, please, because Sue wishes to make an announcement. Thank you. So anyone missed it? That's the album judging is starting in room 1 in 5 minutes. It's a digital judging. Everyone's welcome to attend. But please don't leave us. We'd like you all here. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you. We have an average score of 72. And Nuran is going to make a comment.
Just highlights need to be controlled. I mean, it's for being a professional standard, I think is like we need to look at that details in the highlights.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 84. Sorry, there's red and green lights going off here. It's quite a diverse score range. So, an initial score of 84. And Josh would like to challenge it. Josh is on 90. You've got an 88, 84, 83, and an 82. You do.
Okay. I think we all agree this is in the award standard. I think we're just now arguing about how high we go with it. There is a beautiful ephemeral quality to the light in this photograph, and I'm very much enjoying the subtle tonalities in the print. It's very difficult to photograph and print snow and maintain texture and tone in it, and we have beautiful texture and tone in the snow in this image. They have lovely balance with the snow border, the trees, and the birds up in the top right-hand corner, which I think just adds that little magical element that really lifted it for me. I think there's a great story here. I get a good feeling of place, and I think wonderful balance in the image. So I'd like to hear what perhaps I'm seeing that others are not.
Thank you. Could we hear from Craig, please?
I missed it. So sorry I scored at 82. I'm really enjoying it the more I sit here and look at it. So I'm definitely going up.
Thank you. Kay on 88.
Yeah, I'm with Joe. I'm actually going to go up to gold too. I think that I guess the figure. I questioned initially the figure in the landscape and whether it needs to be there, but it does. But there's a narrative there that the human element in I guess imposing on nature, and the birds sort of flying out. Being disturbed by man, and just the detail that you're actually seeing in the background, all the little trees that are just hiding there in the mist and the fog. The print has been so incredibly well handled, and so remarkable technique. It's a beautiful interpretation of the landscape. So definitely that for me is where it sits in the gold award range.
Thank you, Kay. Josh, back to you.
I think it's pretty much all been said. The only other thing I would add is that perhaps I didn't mention before that I get from this print is when I look into it, there is wonderful depth there. And I think to achieve that depth in that sort of mist and snow environment and translate it onto the print is really quite exquisite. And I'm enjoying it. The more I look at it, the more I enjoy it, and I enjoy the narrative and the story. So I think we should, let's give it a great score and put it where it deserves, please.
Thank you. Josh's score of 90 is locked in. The current score is 84 by majority. Judges, please rescore. And it goes to 90 Gold Award. Thank you. And could we have a judge change? We're going to Josh on that fabulous high note. Thank you. Greg's going to come back and join us. Well done. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76 and a comment from Kay. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm a little bit confused about the image, and I'm unsure where my eye really needs to go. There's a little bit too much going on.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. Thank you. Could we have a comment, please, from Nuran?
It's this very enjoyable image, but almost there. But I think needs to be between more vignetting around the edges, and subject should be that the eyes needs to go to the center point of it. This image.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 81, silver award. Thank you. Greg, a comment, please.
Yes, I think this is a very good attempt at kind of mixture of normal terrestrial and astro photography. Probably the one thing that just takes it down a little bit for me is that it's very tightly cropped at the arch there of the Milky Way. I'd like to see just a little bit more of the sky above that, and possibly just that little bit more sense of detail and content in the landscape.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. And a comment from Kay. Thank you.
Yeah, a lovely colour palette in the image. I think just watch the vignetting and I guess the tonal range consistency through the sky. There's a little bit of sort of wishy-washy going on.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 84. Kay is going to challenge on 92. You've got an 88, 84 and two 83s.
What an absolutely gorgeous image. The colour palette is really, really striking. I'm enjoying, I guess, the mood and the atmosphere that's actually being created by through the use of slow shutter and just the control that's actually been brought to the image is just absolutely beautiful. It's not necessarily a crop that I've necessarily seen before with this sort of image or this sort of subject, I should say. There's just a quiet subtlety that really makes an understatement of the subject that we're actually looking at, and for me that's actually what is drawing my attention to the image, and it's something that is a calmness that I think, you know, this image would sit beautifully on your wall for many years, and you would just keep returning to looking at it and enjoying it, and it's just beautiful. For me, it's in the gold range, and I'd like you to sort of maybe, you know, have a discussion and see where you can bring it up.
Thank you. We're going to hear from Peter on 83.
Okay, I agree with the emotion and the feeling I get from the image. I struggle with the framing, I suppose. I find it unbalanced. We've got such a large area of negative space in the bottom right, and then there's also the sky area, and I feel that it's not for me to recrop it, but I just find that makes the image unbalanced for me, and so I want to like it more, but it just, the more I look at it, the more I feel that it's tilting over. So maybe it's just a cropping issue. Maybe I need to get my glasses straightened, but that's where I sit.
Thank you. Greg on 88.
Yes, I scored that's a silver distinction. In many ways, that might have been a little bit harsh, but I still struggle with a couple of issues with it in respect to, well, what's already been mentioned, the framing and cropping, or the balance within the shot. But it's definitely an image which is a treatment of a subject I've never seen done before. So there's a lot of creativity there. There's a lot of great thought process. I mean, something like this is just so mundane, but to create an image of this quality of something which is so mundane, you know, the author should be awarded. So yeah, I'd like to actually encourage definitely the other judges who are on a kind of the low silver to move their scores. I don't know if you can bring it up to a gold, but I think it's unfair to be anything other than a silver distinction.
Thank you. Kay, your right of reply.
Yeah, that's there is a mundaneness in it, and this is what I guess is the image's strength. To me, the emptiness on the right hand side is you're plunging into whatever it is happening around there. You don't know. There's an abyss that's sort of, you know, this feeling of depth or whatever. But that, to me, that's balanced beautifully with the sky. The tonal range in the sky equals what is happening on the right hand side. The line that you're actually led down with the poles, that last pole is dead set in the centre of the image. You want me to wind it up?
Thank you, Kay.
Yeah. I'm calling for gold.
Thank you. Kay's score of 92 is locked in. The current majority score is 84. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 88, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And Craig, a comment? Thank you.
Look, I think revisit the way you use your depth of field. I think the sharpness and crispness of the image is falling apart.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and the scores are quite close together, so it will go for review at the end. Could we have a comment, please, Peter?
Great sense of geometry and design. I wonder whether the tonality is just quite right. I know that there's just that hint of detail in the shadows, but it just is a little bit flat and a little bit hard to see. So print quality is the answer, I think.
Thank you. A couple of other judges nodding as well. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. We're going to give you a little break, and Jackie's going to come back and join us. Thank you. Next print, please. We have a silver with distinction at 85. Thank you. Greg, a comment from you, please.
Just beautiful composition, beautiful way the light's been captured, the little human element, it's all there. It could go a bit higher, I suppose, maybe revisiting it with just trying to tweak that print quality just that little bit more, but well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Josh. Next print, please. Just for our audience, if a judge is standing up and hopping backwards and forwards, that's perfectly okay. They're allowed to do that. If a judge doesn't wish to assess the image that is in front of them, they can stand back at any time. They do not have to tell us why. They might have seen it before. They might have judged it before. It might be their next door neighbour. We don't know, and we don't mind. And we have a reserved set of judges here to help us out. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And thanks, Craig. Looking for a comment to help the photographer.
This has got amazing potential. Revisit the color palette of the boat. It's just magenta. So it's got so much potential. Revisit that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 87. And Peter would like to challenge. Peter's on 93. And you've got an 88, 88, an 85 and an 83.
Thank you. I responded to this, I guess, on an emotive level in that I suppose I like the colder climes a little bit. The composition I find very, very sophisticated in that you've got those varying diagonals all leading tangentially to the tree in the middle. The tonality, there's a texture that's been used, which is sort of a feeling of the windsweptness, etc., to put detail into the snow. So I look at the image from a compositional point of view and from a craft point of view, and when I put it against my database of what makes me happy, I put it into the gold range. And so that's what I love about it. I just find it an absolutely delightful story, and I think it's great.
Thank you. And can we hear from Craig on 83?
I like everything that you said, except for the overlay. I just think the texture that's been overlaid the image is quite potentially trying to protect what was a mistake or a fault by the photographer. I just think that's interfering for me in the feel for that. And I think what takes that away from me even further is you see the white of the paper around the image itself. So the mat board is almost in the tonality of the picture itself. So I don't think that white needed to be around that either. So that sort of pulls me away even further, and highlights and demonstrates that texture overlay. That's really disjointing for me. I scored it in a silver. I think that's right. I'm comfortable with it sitting in the silver.
Thank you. Greg on 88.
Yeah, it's funny what we see in an image, isn't it? I didn't, I don't even consider the white around it or the mat board for that matter. I just feel what the content is and whether someone's used a, kind of an overlay or something like that. As long as it's sympathetic to the work, I don't think there's an issue, and it is sympathetic to the work and to the mood. I scored at 88. Yeah, maybe I was a bit tough. I'm listening to Peter. I think it's got just beautiful balance. It's got beautiful detail. It has a narrative that works. It is a quality piece, no question. And I think we need to strongly reconsider this.
Thank you, Greg. Peter, back to you on 93.
No, we've all got our own scales that we've got to place it on. It's 87. Any photographer will be happy with an 87. I like to refer to the bromiles and the way that we can do them digitally now. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Peter's score of 93 is locked in. The current average is 87. Judges, please rescore. And it goes to 90, Gold Award. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 83, Silver Award. And a comment from Niran, please.
It's a beautiful image, but what I like to see that actually I like to see a bit less birds in that image for my liking.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 82, silver award. Craig, thank you. Would like to challenge. Craig's on 88. You've got two 82s, an 81 and a 78.
What I really love about this process of judging, and we reset after every single image, and we get represented with a new way of looking at the world. But we also get presented with some things that we normally would see through the port window of a boat. So it's really interesting the way that the photographers presented this. So the way I'm getting this, I love the beautiful light and the way the photographer has treated the light that's coming from the left-hand side all the way to the right. So it's really got this really watercolor, painterly feel to it. And I think the dramatic aspect of that light that's coming across those highlights for the birds, and the simplicity of the two the poles in which the one bird is sitting on. So I just love the simplicity and the composition of this oval presentation. So I really rewarded for that imagination and use of the light, the color palette, etc. So it'd be interesting to see what we
Thank you.
see it as a silver. I see it as silver distinction.
Thank you. Peter is on 78.
What you were gently saying, Craig, is that you really want to understand what the hell I was thinking when I scored at 78, I suppose. But no, I'm only staring. And look, I say that because I think that what you said was very eloquent and very true. And we all come to this thing with that different scale. The way I approached it, I suppose, is if I take the circle out, what do I have? And I think that the photographer is to be commended for putting the circle in, because it has greatly strengthened the image. But I've sat back and I've put it in my scale, and I think, yep, I see this. I've seen the use of this technique or this approach many times before, and I put it as really good, solid, professional technique. If I were a client and were presented with this, I'd be very happy. But for me, I'm sorry, I'm the hard bugger on this particular occasion.
Thank you. Could we hear from Niran on 82?
And all that reasons, I'm just between two ideas. I mean, virtually, in reality as well, and that's all that reasons actually. Good commercial practice, like a good professional practice in here, and I can relate to both sides, and I like the narrative, but for being in a silver distinction range, I think needs to be a bit more, need to give a bit more visual communication to me, and I don't have that one with the image, and I'm very happy where it stays as well.
Thank you very much. Craig, back to you.
All right, so if we start building, we can see it photographically competent here. All right, so we're putting it into a silver award, so it's already awarded for that. Now I'm asking for that little edge on the presentation and the narrative, that you've got two seagulls here. The one seagull is left, and he's taken off. He's left his mate behind, but the mate's sitting there saying, "Why did you leave me?" But we're taking on that journey, so I'm building a narrative here. So I'm just adding that little extra oomph that's going on with the narrative here. So silver distinction.
Thank you. Craig's score of 88 is locked in. The current average is 82. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 83, silver award. Congratulations. Very much. Thank you. And could we have the next print, please? Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Peter, a quick comment, and then you can have a break.
Colour saturation, I guess. I just find that if you look at the print quality, some of the reds in there are just really blocking up, and maybe it's not the right profile, or maybe you've just used that slider, which I so much love, a little bit too much. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. And we're going to give Peter and Craig both a break. They've been on for a little while, and we're going to have Kay and Josh back in with us, please. Thank you very much. And next print, please. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. We have an average score of 88. Thank you, Jackie. On 93, you've got an 88, 86, 84.
I just think this is a really unique way of looking at a landscape, and the light is just sumptuous in this image. I think the treatment, well, it just looks so natural, and the mist falling over the hills, it's just, you can see all the detail, it's beautifully printed, and I really commend this photographer for this beautiful image, and I see it sitting in the gold. Look, it's singing out gold. It's a gold image. It has gold tones and it rings gold.
Thank you, Jackie. Niran on 84.
I'm in 84 and I put in the silver range, but maybe I'm a bit underscored. But for accepting something in the gold category, in gold range, and I'm looking for a bit more different elements for give me a bit more excitement. And it is a very nice image, but it's not a very new approach to me, because I've seen quite a bit of images like this in my photographic career. But it's gorgeous image, but for going a gold, I'm going to go to silver distinction, but for going gold, and I need to be more convincing.
Thank you. And Greg on 88.
I can see what you're seeing in it. There's some beautiful qualities, absolutely. I was on 88. Maybe I was a bit tough. The closer I look, the more I see the quality. I do think that it is still, you might say it's a common subject, but it's still fairly well seen in respect to, using the overhang and what have you, and it has this beautiful balance about it. Little details on the mountain, the little red hearts, and a few things like that are just little subtle things which do make it special. So I'm definitely considering going up from my original 88.
Thank you. Something to add, Kay?
Yeah, I mean, it is an absolutely beautiful image, but again, I come back to you saying, I guess looking at the originality of the overhang of the thing, but I have actually seen that before, so to me it's actually not a new concept in terms of how that's actually been handled. And that's why I've kept it in the silver distinction range for that very reason, because to me gold is where it's got to be outstanding visual communication. It's got to give me something more new that I haven't seen before.
Thank you, Kay. Back to you, Jackie.
Well, I think, yes, I've seen this technique before, but I think we have to judge what's in front of us, and it's absolutely sumptuous. The light is sumptuous.
Thank you, Jackie.
Okay.
Jackie's score of 93 is locked in. The current average is 88. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 89, so silver with distinction, which means it will also be reviewed in the next room. Thank you, judges. Nice use of your sumptuous word there, Jackie, for lighting. Next print, please. Judges, we just need you to jog up to the screen. Thank you very much. Well done. We want to save our time for fabulous debate and explore wonderful words to describe lighting. Thank you. We have an average score of 79 and a comment from Josh.
For the benefit of the photographer, I think we would all love this if the blacks were not crunched quite so hard. And perhaps if the cloud was a little more central. We're presented with a square format crop, but yet I feel that the balance is wrong.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 83, silver award. And a comment, Greg?
Yes, I think this is beautifully seen and printed, and the design works. It is deserving of an award. Probably a little bit more graphic treatment of it in its crop, or maybe execution of taking it. Once you're in the air there. But yeah, well done to the author.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And if we could have a comment from Jackie.
Yeah, a really beautiful subject. I'm sadly let down by the blotchiness there of the dark areas, so especially in the sky and on the right-hand side.
Thank you, Jackie.
Let it down. Yep.
Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. And a comment from Nuran. Thank you.
And just one recommendation to the author: if you want to do symmetrical images, do symmetrical, because it's not symmetrical enough. Has to be just balanced perfectly.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Comment from Kay.
Yeah, I really nice idea, nice image, but I think the treatment's a little bit heavy, and you're starting to see some of the blotchiness of the background where you've actually trying to get rid of some of that the background that's coming through.
Thank you very much. And Nuran, you can have a little holiday for a minute. And Peter's coming back in to join us. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. And could we get Kay to make a comment?
Yeah, I just see a little bit of a confusion about what we're actually meant to be looking at here, and I think there needs to be a little bit more simplicity brought to the image. I think the shutter speed, use of shutter speed is actually overcomplicating what can actually be a really nice environment.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nuran. Thank you, Peter. Next print, please. We have an average score of 88. And Peter would like to challenge. Peter's on 93. You've got Kay on 92 and an 87 and two 83s.
I just see this as a beautifully executed traditional composition. The balance of the flowers in the foreground with the tree at the back is, it's all dark. There's this mystery and emotion. Obviously with the scores, we're all getting something out of it. And I guess it's just on my scale of what makes me really, really happy, and this makes me really, really happy because of the power of the image. The colour is right, the darkness. I know I'm at night, the moon's beautifully exposed, but it's just the way the photographer has brought all of those elements together that really speaks to me. It sort of takes me back to the classic American landscape with 4x5 and that beautiful depth of field that you get, and the photographer has exhibited all of this, and to me it was just, I walked back and said I have to give it gold.
Thank you. Jackie on 83.
Look, when we saw this through the walkthrough, I was really excited about looking at this image, and I've been very harsh. But I hear everything that Peter says, and I totally agree with you. And I'm really enjoying the iridescence of those flowers. I mean, they're just, and then you go through and you see the beautiful moon, and it's all there. So I've been really harsh on it. So I'm coming up.
Thank you. And can we just hear from Josh on 87?
I was in a solid silver distinction. I'm really enjoying the luminous quality of those lupins. It's wonderful. It's beautiful, and being done at night and having them glow like that, they pop. It's fantastic. I think you're right. I think all the elements are there, Peter. I think we've got beautifully exposed moon, wonderful composition. I'm drawn into the image. I'm not left to wander aimlessly around it at all. 87. Yeah, I can go to gold on this. I mean, it's unique, and it's unique. It's creative, and it ticks all the boxes. So let's make it happen.
Thank you. Back to you, Peter. You're happy with that? Peter's score of 93 is locked in. The current average is 88. Judges, please rescore. Thank you. We have a gold award, 93. Nice teamwork. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie's on 85. You've got an 81, 78, 78, 73.
I'm really enjoying the simplicity of this image, and the detail in that shadow area on the left is exquisite. It's a very, very simple image, and I just applaud the photographer. In an architect's office of an architectural landscape, which it is, and it's quite lovely.
Thank you. Let's hear from Peter on 73.
It's interesting when you use the term architectural, and I guess I can appreciate the sterile environment, and that's actually, I suppose, what I was regaling against when I scored it in the 73. I felt that there was no emotion, there was no detail in the tiles, etc. Wonderful detail in the shadows, as you say, but it's just this simplicity, and so I'm listening, but I wasn't quite so captured as you so far.
Thank you. Kay, 78.
Yeah, I really enjoy the graphic nature of it, but it's let down to me by the printing, the print handling. To me, there isn't the detail in the highlights in the shadows that I feel is needed, and also there's a real softness to the lines in the tiles where I think realistically they should be beautifully sharp. So for me, that's why I've just kept it in approaching award standard, because that's where I feel it sits.
Thank you. Greg, briefly to hear from you. You're in 81.
Yeah, I suppose I was very much in the same boat as Jackie. It's just this beautiful simplicity and linear aspect, but yet at the same time kind of yin and yang with the shadow and that. And I suppose I was forgiving of a little bit of the flaws and maybe sharpness and what have you. I just thought it was just a very simple statement of what is actually out there in the landscape. So I suppose I was on the same page with Jackie in that respect.
Thank you. Jackie, back to you, right of reply.
Well, we're both architectural photographers, so that's our problem. But I'd like you to reconsider it, because it is a very strong graphic image, and the balance is beautiful. Those triangles. It's got dynamics. It's got texture, and it sings to me.
Thank you. Jackie's score of 85 is locked in. The current average is 79. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 79 by majority this time. So, yes, it went up by 0.6%. There you go. You know it doesn't make a difference. It will be reviewed. Thank you. And I'm sure the entrant enjoyed the discussion. Next print, please. If there is a mark on the print, so let's just assume that it arrived in beautiful condition, and we'll judge it as it is, please. Thank you. We have a silver with distinction, 86. You're all quite close together. Josh, could we have a comment?
Very much enjoying the colour palette. The reds are really sublime when you get up to them. They're quite sumptuous, and I love the way the two elements are floating in the print as well. It reminds me of like a blood platelet or something. I think it's wonderfully abstract, beautiful work.
Thank you very much. Oysters? Okay. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. The print will go to review. You're quite close together. Could we have a comment from Peter? Thank you.
Well, I scored at 83, but I actually think 79 is bang on the money. It's the picture has got some fantastic ideas with that little person diving in, but maybe there's just a little bit too much of the expanse, and maybe so it's an almost there. So good luck at the review. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much. Fingers crossed. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. Thank you very much. And Greg, could we have a comment from you?
Yes, just if the author is either listening or in the room, I don't think all is lost here, but it's a rethink back in your photo processing software, and think maybe black and white and just a little bit more contrast.
Thank you. Next print, please. Greg, can you just check your score came to us, please? Yes, thank you. Lovely. We have a score of 81, silver award. Thank you. Jackie, a comment for the entrant?
It's a bit heavy-handed in the sky, but there's lots of lovely textures and lots of lovely things in this image, and it's well crafted.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and the print will go for review. You're all close together. Could we have a quick comment, Kay?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure the techniques actually need. It's actually quite a really interesting print. I think I am wondering whether the horizon line is actually slightly crooked. I think, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah, maybe the treatment's a little bit too heavy.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Please, judges. I meant scores, please, but you've got yours in. Thank you. Average score of 74. Thank you. And because you're good on this side, you can give us a comment.
Yeah, I think we probably all agree the vignette's just way too heavy here. Once you get up to it too, there's some sharpness that's lacking in the elements, and the blacks are also quite crunched. It's it just needs a revisit in post.
Thank you very much. Jackie, you're going to have a little coffee break, tea break. Craig is going to come in and join us. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Scores straight in, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Thank you. And could we please have a comment from Peter? Oh, sorry. Go, Greg. Yep, you're it.
I just love the thought pattern behind this. The photographer's just done this kind of crazy construct for those who aren't close enough to see, and where they've just added these elements in. And I just like to encourage them to keep going, but perfect what they're doing. It's just fallen short on technique, but I love the thought pattern.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Scores, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 87. Greg is going to challenge it. Greg's on 92. We've got two 88s, an 85 and an 83.
Yeah, I do feel that this definitely falls into the gold category. It's got a beautiful design. It's got a lovely way that it kind of leads the eye through that image. It's got a little hook in the way the birds are working there. Beautifully printed, lovely tonality. You know, if there is kind of a bit of a construct going on, I think it's been handled very, very, very well. As a bit of just central kind of design, I think it works well. And I think we need to have a very close look at it and discussion on this one. I'd like to see it be considered for a gold.
Thank you. Peter on 83.
Greg, when I saw it come up, I thought, wow, is this going to be a gold? And so the reasons that held me back is not the idea or the imagination, which I think is fantastic. It's the execution. The things that hold me back a little bit for a gold, not for a silver, but for a gold, is that there's a little bit of a haloing around the tree. The size of the birds doesn't seem to be right for the tree, just for my, and I could be wrong, But most importantly, when I get actually into the tree itself, and whether it's infrared or whatever, but I don't have the definition of the trees that I wanted to see when I went up there. Now I realise I'm putting an expectation on the picture before I get up and see it, but that held me back. I was a little disappointed in that. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore this, but if it's going to be a gold, I need to have some resolution in those areas.
Okay, Kay is on 88, please.
Yeah, I take on all of that Peter's said. I'm not too. I guess in favour of the. I'm not too bothered about that halo. I think it's just creates a nice frame around it. But I am probably tempted to agree with the bird. You know, the scale of the birds. But in saying that, I love the way the movement's actually been captured in the birds. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I'm listening because I'm a little bit conflicted, and even whether the texture that's been applied to it is just a subtly too bit heavy for it, because it is such a beautifully delicate image.
Thank you. Back to you, Greg.
Yeah, look, I actually feel that when I take it we're still in Landscape Open.
We are still in Landscape Open.
Yes, so we have to consider that this is possibly a landscape of the imagination, where birds don't necessarily fit normal Earth-type perspective. But look, I suppose really what I'm saying is that there are elements there which, you know, to my mind, you don't necessarily see in real life, but yet it's been put together in a way that is quite arresting. So, like I said before, I'd just like you to consider what we're seeing here for a gold.
Thank you. Greg's score of 92 is locked in. The current average is 87. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 88, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Scores, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 71 with a comment to help the photographer, Josh.
It's a very tough thing to do, to light a foreground and shoot an image like this at night and present an image that's extremely powerful. I think just to relook at this, both in terms of composition and in terms of view of how the scene is lit, it's fighting. My feeling is it's fighting between the foreground and background.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 84. Silver award. Thank you. And it will also go review at the end. And could we have a comment, Greg, please?
I think this is a fantastic attempt of what is really kind of a quite banal, almost dirty, unbeautiful landscape, but it's done so beautifully well. So well done to the author.
Thank you. Next print, please. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. Craig, could we have a brief comment, please?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the color palette, the tonality that's going through the overall image needs to be revisited.
Reconsider it. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 69. Kay, could you make a comment? Thank you.
I think timing in terms of, we've got the car going across the bridge, which doesn't need to be there at all. I think a little bit more, what is the subject matter? What is the photographer really trying to say with the image, I think is for me.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. And it will go for review. Yes. And we'd like a comment. Okay, thank you.
I actually quite enjoy the image. What I do enjoy is that what I'm seeing is the little almost insects that have been created with where the images have been mirrored. Maybe it's a little bit cluttered. So just maybe, a little bit more simplicity to it.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 71. Peter, a comment, please.
I hope the entrant takes us in the spirit it's meant. I feel that the entrant's at the beginning of their career, and maybe the first thing to look at is your exposure on this particular frame. Just see what detail that you might have in the raw file, and darken it down, and see what else you can find.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and the scores are quite close, so it will go for review at the end. Greg, thank you. A comment?
Yes, I'd like to encourage the photographer. If you're interested in this kind of long exposure night work, kind of then marrying it with, I don't know, daytime or evening type work, just to perfect your the way you work your tonalities and your dynamic range. Just blend them a little bit better together, and I think your work might be more successful. But well done.
Thank
And
you.
I hope you get up.
Good luck. Fingers crossed. Thank you. And blank screen, please. Thank you, which means you've worked very hard. And we're at the end of the judging of this category. So if you can just hold tight, I think... Thank you. Thank you, judges. So thank you. We had to do a bit of double shuffling. And this is the review prints for the landscape open category. And so what we'll do, the print will come round. I will announce the score. I need you to come back to you after you've looked at it. If you want to go and look at it, please come back to your seats and then show me your decision. So we will wait till you actually all get back to your seats and then show me your decision. I'll announce the score from there. It's irrelevant how many rooms there are. This is the room that we're doing. You judge in the other room? That's okay. It's a review process, so it's fresh eyes to say it's an up or down process. Thank you very much. So can we have the first print, please? This print is on 84. So please go up if you would like to look at it. Do we keep it at 84? Show me the red side. If you would like to upgrade it to 85, show me the green side. Yes, it goes to 85, silver with distinction. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? And it stays at 84. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Yes, it upgrades to 80. Silver award. Congratulations. Next print, please. Thank you. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? Yes, it goes to 85, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? It stays at 84. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? It stays at 79. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? And yes, it goes to 85. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? Thank you. It goes to 85, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Yes, it goes to 80, silver award. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 89. 89. Does it stay at 89 or upgrade to a gold award at 90? Yes, we have a gold award, 90. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Thank you. It stays at 79. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? And it goes to 80, silver award. Congratulations. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? It stays at 79. Next print, please. This print is at 84. Does it stay at 84 or upgrade to 85? Yes, it goes to 85. Congratulations, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or does it upgrade to 80? No, it stays at 79. Next print, please. This print is at 79. Does it stay at 79 or upgrade to 80? Thank you. This print stays at 79. Thank you very much. Blank screen, please. And we're just going to keep you all here. That was the end of the review category. Thank you very much. And could we have our print handlers just come out so we can see you and say hello to you? And thank you. This is Kelly, Dave and Eloise. Thank you very much. Wonderful effort out the back. The anonymous faces. Thank you very much, team.
Can I just say thank you to all our judges once again for a fantastic day. You guys have really stepped up and the judging's gone bang on time and most important...